The steps that I take to prepare an estimate for painting walls and ceiling and trim is similar to what I do for kitchen cabinets. It's a little more in depth though. I ask a lot of questions up front, and sometimes clients will think they're kind of weird, like when I ask what type of flooring do you have in the room. All of that plays into a well-prepared estimate because I need to make sure I have enough prep time. For instance, if a client has nice new carpet and I'm painting walls, I certainly want to make sure I have enough time to go through and properly prep to make sure that there's no chance of spillage on carpet. So when I do an estimate preparing for painting walls, trim, or ceiling, I take into account the size of the room. And when I ask for dimensions, if I'm not able to go out and speak with a client, I will ask them, do you know what the length and width of your room is? A typical bedroom, maybe 10 by 10, 10 by 14, and then I'll ask what height their ceilings are. Most people have no idea. Typical old homes have ceiling heights that are close to 8 feet. More than new homes have vaulted ceilings that go anywhere from 9 to 14 feet. So that does make a difference in accounting for square footage. I know it seems kind of straightforward, but a lot of people don't understand that just because you have a 2,100 square foot home, that doesn't mean that's how much square footage is going to be accounted for when it comes to painting walls and ceilings. Walls, obviously, just doing a little math, you have to multiply your height by the length of the wall. And then ceilings, obviously, you multiply the length times the width of the room. So all of that added together, I do a total square footage. Other questions that I ask clients, especially if I'm not able to go out to the property, I ask them if they can send me some photos. I'm happy to share my number. I get texts from clients all the time. This is what my room looks like. You know, I ask, what color is are your walls now? And what color do you want to go to? The reason I ask that is because if you have a dark wall and you want to go back to something light, I have to take into account that I'm going to have to prime those walls first to transition to a lighter color. That ensures that, one, we're not wasting product because primer is more cost effective than paint. A tip that I learned a long time ago to stretch paint even further is to tint my primer. So if I'm doing a dark room, I will tint the primer a few shades lighter than the paint. That way when everything is primed, I can go back and I know where I need to go for paint to start. So it helps. Other questions that I ask are, when was the last time the room was painted? What kind of product was used before? I do not recommend paints that include the primer unless it is the same product that was used before and it hasn't been more than 5 years. The reason for that is, sometimes you run the risk of products not meshing, and when you go to paint and they dry, sometimes you can get bubbles or the paint will peel. So knowing what was applied previously and how long it's been is necessary. I also inquire about any damage to walls, if there's any holes, drywall repairs. Most of my estimates, I will account for small holes that are smaller than a quarter. That doesn't add any more to the estimate, but anything over that size will take more time and material to repair, so those are accounted for. Then from there, I like to ask my clients to what degree they want to be involved. Some people want to help with the prep, so they will wash the walls. Similar to how I prepare cabinets for painting, I'll use a water and vinegar mixture for washing walls. It's a good idea to remove any oils, grease, dirt to make sure you have a properly prepped surface. Because if you don't, and you paint over dirt or grease or candle wax or anything like that, you run the risk of bleeding through, paint peeling, and the paint not lasting as long as it should otherwise. So that is my process for creating an estimate. I ask a lot of questions. I love open dialogue. I enjoy having clients ask me questions. I like educating people on the process, and I'm more than happy to show a client how to do something if they want to learn how to do something in the future. That's the fun part of my job.